Danny, should I upgrade my GX transmission to XX or XXSL transmission because I'm not quite happy with the shifting performance? Well, you don't have to upgrade because the performance will be the same. There will be only the price and the weight difference, mostly. This is transmission, this is mechanical. It's not a comparison, this is troubleshooting. I'm going to show you 3 things that this one has and the electronical doesn't have, and one thing, crucial thing, that this one has and the mechanical doesn't have. And then 3 symptoms. Symptom number 1, you can hear weird noises on a certain gear. Usually it's just one gear on the cassette where the chain is not really silent. You can hear the chain rubbing against the cassette or just clicking, doing something. That's symptom number 1. Symptom number 2, the chain will be more willing to go one side to the cassette, like to the lowest gear, not to the highest gear, or vice versa. It will be willing to go down the cassette, but not up the cassette. And number 3, every 5th or 10th or 20th gear change under load when you're pedaling is really loud. And very important thing, the micro adjustment doesn't work. So this is not about micro adjustment, this is troubleshooting. So symptom number 3 is normal. Transmission from time to time will be loud because usually it will put the chain through the ramp, through the gear shift ramp, and then the gear change is really smooth. But sometimes, because there is no such thing as cassette mapping, it's just marketing BS, it will push the chain through the flat section of the sprocket and then it will kind of slide on it and then the gear change will be really hard. When I'm filming races, when I'm with my GoPro and I'm filming myself racing, I don't hear myself changing the gear on this thing, but I can hear people on my wheel with transmission. I can tell you by the sound that this is transmission, that they are changing the gears. This is normal, unless it's very often. As I said, maybe every 5th, every 10th, every 20th gear change, depending on which gear it is and how hard you are pushing. And yes, you'll say, Danny, but the transmission should be working better under load than on the bike stand. That's what we've been told, but I'm telling you what I hear during the races. So if it's not super often, just forget about symptom number 3. Number 1 and 2 are important. Some noise and gear shifting not quite well. So 3 things that this one has. First 2 are these 2 screws. These are the limiting screws which don't allow the chain to go in between the cassette and frame or just jump down here between the spokes and the cassette. This one doesn't have it, and it doesn't need to have those because this derailleur actually knows where it starts the work and when it will finish the work. I haven't had any customers who complain that the chain just drops or either side. Third thing, an important thing, is the big up screw, which we have on this derailleur. The big up screw will adjust how far the guide pulley is from the sprockets. So the further it is, the more movement of the chain, the closer it is, the less movement of the chain, and when you do it wrong, the shifting can be too stiff or too slow, or no shifting even. This thing, so important, gives you the chance to micro adjust the big up. And this one doesn't have it. I'm going to tell you even more. When the chain elongates and it elongates with every ride, before you actually need to replace the chain, especially for those who are racing and going really hard with the drivetrain, I would micro adjust the big up, right? No micro adjustment right here. And then we go to the thing that this one has and that one doesn't have. This is something that looks like a cage lock, and it is a cage lock because you can lock the cage to the position for the wheel removal. And this derailleur is in that position. So it's got a cage lock. If I want to ride, you will hear click. And now we can go. Same here. If I want to ride, my wheel is back on. That's it. But this thing is removable. And it has two little markings here on the right and on the left. And depending on which side you're pushing it into it, the marking will either be in line with letter A, or let's just flip it, or letter B. And come on, that's it here. Click, it's in place. And we are using this cage lock also for locking it in this position. So not fully extended, where you can see this white lock, but in this position. And that's the worst adjustment thing on the transmission. No micro adjustment. And the problem is, that's the first troubleshooting. If you have a new transmission and it's been installed with the Sram AXS or Access app, and it doesn't work perfectly or well, it might be that the app gave you the wrong letter right here. It either told you that you should be installing it on the gear number 7, for example, with the position A or B, but it should be B or A. So the first thing to try to solve the problem is to put the measurements manually, which means that you measure the length of your chainstays. Example, this Yo-Yo, this is the gravel bike, mountain bike group set, that's what I installed here. This one has 430 millimeters. So that's the length of the chainstay I put into the website. And then for the 32 and 34 teeth chainring, this bike should have 116 links. So that's one thing. I know that I have the correct number of the links, but also it might be that when you do it manually, you will have a different letter here. Hopefully. Because this thing will position your derailleur when you are fastening this bolt, and this is the mounting bolt for your derailleur. And now we can go a little further. If I remember correctly, the transmission, either it's GX or whatever, X01, is set for the chain line between 51 and 54 millimeters. Check your chain line. You can measure from the center of your frame to the chain ring how many millimeters you've got, and you can also try to play with those spacers there. This is super wide, so remember about that. And then the last thing is, if you have the correct chain length and chain line, and the derailleur is not bent, specifically on the new bikes, you can know for sure. Don't look at your cage because it's bent and twisted from the factory. It's supposed to be. But what you can do, which is not according to the manual, I'm telling you that, it's best to ask the good bike mechanic for that, to do that. You can also micro adjust your big gap, if you will, by undoing the axle and then undoing this bolt and then micro adjusting the position of your derailleur. This thing, in my opinion, it doesn't do much difference, but micro adjusting this might help. Now, I take no responsibility for whether you damage your derailleur or not. I use this method and it works. So if you're really in need of doing something, you know that there is also this option. And the last thing, these two lines on the silver plate and black plate should be in line. That's also important. All right. So not having this is a pain, but using this as a big up screw might help. I'm not telling you if your derailleur doesn't work, just undo this one and no, do the whole process, and if it still doesn't work and you don't want to simply send the bike or the drivetrain back to SRAM, you can try with this. If you have any further solutions for not ideal shifting, let us all know, because probably there will be lots of questions right here. And that's it. Thanks for watching. See ya.